Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the WWDC 2011 edition of DLB TV. We're going to talk about Apple and all the news, not all of it, but most of the news, the most important news that they announced at WWDC this year. Stay tuned.
You guys are tuned into DLB TV.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I am your host, DLB. Make sure you guys check out the website, DLB-Network.com, for all your E3 and WWDC news. Right now, we're going to start off with OS X Lion 10. That's what the X is for. A lot of the stuff that most of the stuff they talked about, they had already talked about before. This time around, they further elaborated on it. So in the interest of time, we're not going to hit everything, but we'll hit the most important things. So some of the things that they talked about at WWDC 2011 is they talked about new gestures that are coming to Mac devices, mission control, which allows you to see everything that's going on your Mac, not just what's in the desktop space that you have going on, but if you have multiple desktop spaces, things that are minimized, multiple applications over. It essentially shows you everything on that one screen. So that's another feature that they're launching that I'm personally looking forward to, because for me, I'm always doing a lot of editing and posting on the blog and doing stuff like that. So having different spaces open helps. But when you launch Mission Control, now you're actually able to see all the other spaces that you have open as well. You used to weren't able to have a feature like that. You had to go to each one and then do the expose, and then you can see what you have open. This shows everything that you have open on your computer at any given time. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. One of the biggest things to me that they announced for OS X Lion is the resume feature. Because that's one of the main things that I love about the Mac. If your battery, for those of you guys that do have Macs, if your battery ever goes dead and you have to plug it in, it starts off exactly where you left off when your computer went dead. Now, this essentially takes it a step further. So now if you turn off your computer, have to do a restart, which a lot of times you're doing updates, so you have to restart your computer, it'll essentially bring you exactly back to where you are. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I'm working on a Word document, I'm working on something for the blog, and I highlight a certain word because I'm going to link it to whatever source I got it from. Now let's say I need to restart my computer or turn it off for whatever reason. When my computer restarts, it resumes exactly what I was doing down to the word that I had highlighted. That's how crazy it is. It brings your desktop back as if it never went off, as if you closed your laptop and then opened it right back up. So resume is a beautiful feature. I'm loving that. I'm looking forward to that. Another feature that they announced was AirDrop, which is similar to a service called Dropbox. Similar to it. The difference between that and AirDrop is essentially for only Mac users if you have a Mac. They didn't say this feature would be on PC, so this is just a Mac-only feature. But to give you an example with this, again, if I'm working on a page document and I want to switch it over to my other MacBook Pro or my other iMac and continue working there, all I do is I drop it in there, and then it'll essentially go to whatever computer that I dropped it on. So if I dropped it in my on my iMac that's in the other room, which I don't have one, I'm just using that as an example. I wish I did, but that's sitting in the other room on the desk. Then when I go to that computer, that pages that I was working on is essentially going to be there. Now this works on all Mac computers. So again, if I needed to send something to my wife who has a MacBook Pro, or somebody comes over and they have a Mac, the only thing is you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. This will not work if you are not on the same Wi-Fi network. But that is, again, another hot feature, and I'm looking for that. Another thing they talk about was Mail. They've actually changed the look of Mail, which I'm actually excited about. I like the new look of Mail. It's similar to Microsoft Office. Any of you guys who have Office jobs, or if you use Microsoft Office at home, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It looks fairly similar to Microsoft Office, a little cleaner. It has thread emailing, which is big for me because me and the guys at the DLB-Network were constantly sending emails talking about different subjects. And if you don't have thread emailing, for those of you guys that don't know what that is if somebody replies back to your topic, it's going to have multiple different individual emails. With threading does is it takes all those emails that are being replied to and just puts them in one big folder, so to speak, that's in your inbox. So that's definitely a nice feature, and that's coming as well. Essentially, the launch date for Mac OS X Lion is July. They didn't actually give an exact date, but July. And typically the OS is $129, but they're giving it to you for $100 less. Only $29. I like this frugal, more affordable Apple. I don't know about you guys, but I do. So $29 for what they're giving you, available this July. I mean, I can't argue with that. Now, keep in mind, there was a lot more stuff that was announced, but I just wanted to keep it, short and straight to the point for video purposes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to iOS. Now, some of the things that popped out to me when they started talking about iOS 5, you guys know what the big one is notifications, but we'll get to that. Some of the other things that they announced was readless, which there's apps that do this, but it's nice that Apple actually has it built into the browser called readless. It's basically what that is if you're on a website and you're reading an article and you want to come back and read it later, basically. That's basically what readless is. You could basically come back and read it later. So that's dope. But my thing is, I'm not sure. They didn't specify it, but it's the iOS 5. Forget that I just said that. So that'll be available on all iOS 5 devices. I do a lot of reading, so that's perfect for me. My thing is, when I do this, if I go to somewhere where I don't have internet access, is it going to try and reload that page, or will the page just be there? You know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll get a chance to test that out, or some of the developers will let us know. That is something that I'm truly, truly excited for. Another thing that they did is they added tabs to the iPad Safari. I don't know if that's coming to the iPhone Safari or not, but that is definitely another hot feature that they announced for all you iPad users out there, is the fact that it'll be tabs at the top of the web browser instead of the expose look that they had before, that they have currently until this actually launches. So they actually have tabs at the top of the Safari browser now, which that's going to be pretty hot as well, and more convenient. Another feature they announced was the fact that you'll be able to take pictures from the lock screen. I actually thought that was pretty neat. So you're actually able to pull out your phone and take a picture. But check this out. When you take the picture, a lot of us have been waiting for this. But you can actually use the volume button to take the picture. Now, for all of you that have had iPhones, this is something we've been complaining about for years. But at any rate, they're finally offering it. Kudos to Apple for that. Now, Apple is really big on this whole post-PC thing. And I'm real big on it too, because I'm loving it and I'm feeling it. And one of the things that they help to go to the post-PC direction is literally getting rid of the tethering cable, charger, whatever you want to call it, that you have to plug into your freaking Mac computer to download updates, music, photos. No more. No more do you have to use this cable. Thank you, Apple gods. So finally, we'll be able to sync our music, our calendars, photos. Updates are over the air now, so it's a beautiful thing. They're finally getting rid of the cord, and I'm happy about that. But even better, once you first get your iPhone, you're actually able to activate your iPhone with just the phone. Congratulations to Apple for that feature. That was hot as well. Like I said before, the over-the-air updates, that's a plus as well. So this is what's funny to me. Is the over-the-air updates included in iOS 5? If it is, that means that we won't be able to download iOS 5 over the air. Keep that in mind. They talked about Game Center. They didn't do as much as I would like them to do at Game Center to kind of push it a little bit more. But they did what they did with it, whatever. Another thing that they talked about was iMessages. iMessages essentially is going to be on every iOS device, iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch. I wonder Apple TV. Apple TV is an iOS device, so will it be an Apple TV? But they didn't talk about that. Probably won't. Just curious. So iMessages is another application that they're offering. It's similar to BBM, BlackBerry Messenger. For all of you guys that aren't familiar with BlackBerry Messenger, that's essentially an application that's on every BlackBerry device, and no matter what, you're able to get messages through BBM. That's what Sony. Sony's later on. We're not there yet. But that's what Apple is essentially offering now, called iMessages. So now you're able to chat with people on their iPad or iPod Touches, and you're able to do group chats as well. Now keep in mind there are applications in the App Store right now that do stuff like this, but it's always nice when Apple puts their twist on the thing, so we'll see how that actually works out. Another thing, going back to the iPad, is the split of the keyboard. I thought that was pretty big because the iPad is a pretty large device, and I don't have freakishly large thumbs, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there just like me that just don't have thumbs that can cross the whole dang screen. So what they did was they actually split the keyboard to make it easier, which I think is pretty nice, and I actually thank them for that, and whew, happy about that. Another thing is Twitter. Twitter is integrated into iOS 5, so you actually can send tweets from your photo app. So if you take a photo, you can essentially just send that photo as a tweet now, instead of actually opening up Twitter and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. If you have an application that's asking you for permission to request your Twitter account, you don't have to re-log in or re-put in your information. It'll already be there because you're already logged in. So that's another plus. That's something else they talked about. A to-do list. They talked about adding a to-do list. So that's going to be coming as well. And then last but not least is the notification system. Something that we've all been waiting for a long time. I know I have. They're actually finally bringing notification. I'm not too... It looks all right. I mean, I don't know. I'm happy that it's finally here. But if you've ever had your phone jailbroken, essentially there's a lot of jailbroken applications that essentially do this, where basically, or if you have an Android phone or ever had an Android phone or see somebody with an Android phone, you basically tap the top of the screen once the notification pops up, or you could just drag down and all your notifications, it'll bring up basically your notification system, and all your notifications are there, whether it's a text message, missed phone call, email, Facebook, ESPN, other applications that have notifications. So basically that's what it is. It wasn't anything revolutionary, but it is what it is. We finally have it. I'm excited about it. That's pretty much the conference. Oh, what am I doing? They talked about iCloud. So iCloud is another service they talked about where essentially when you take a picture, it'll basically go to the cloud and then come and rain down on your other Mac devices. No, but let me stop joking. But essentially, that's exactly what it is. It goes into the cloud. I like to say it rains down because rain comes out of the cloud. So if I take a picture on my iPhone, every Mac or iOS device I have, it will go to. So if I take a picture, it's going to go to my iPad, my Mac, my iPod Touch. And it's a hot feature, and it's free. But not only is it photos, it's your calendar. It's basically Mobile Me. Mobile Me turned into iCloud, and that's assumably what it is, and it's free $99. I'm pretty sure they're going to have some other pricing tiers and all that stuff, but all those details are to come later on down the line. So that's basically what was covered very vaguely. I'm just trying to give you guys a recap, not the whole conference over again. I'm pretty sure Apple will post the whole conference on their website later on today. Once again, this was a recap of WWDC 2011. I was your host, DLB. Make sure you guys go check out the website, DLB-Network.com. Once again, that's DLB-Network.com. Every Thursday, we record our podcasts. Podcasts are posted on the weekends. Make sure you guys listen to our podcast for our full recap of E3 and our full recap of WWDC 2011. Expect videos from me throughout the week to keep you guys posted. Once again, make sure you guys check out the site. Make sure you download the podcast, which is also available on iTunes. Other than that, until the next video that's coming next, which is Sony, peace.